Hi guys, I'm going to walk you through planning out a week with me in my passion planner. And I'm not sure if you can pick it up, but I usually pencil everything in that is important in pencil until I get to that specific week. So I'm going to show you how I do that. We're going to fast forward through that part, but I do use time blocking and I also do color coding. So if you can see, I'll show you some of my other pages in the past so that I have a glimpse. This week was crazy. I had 2 research projects to do, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So we will fast forward through some of this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our ruler and we're going to block out the specific amounts of time that we have for required commitments, things that are not negotiable at all. We're going to get those in first, and then we're going to go back in and fill in the rest of the week. So I'm going to go ahead and start to fast forward this video so you can watch that part, and I will be back in a second. Okay, we've got that part done. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take what looks like a mess, but I'm going to take a pen and write in my commitments that I have during the week. And I always use a black, and sometimes I use a black Papermate. Sometimes I use a black Staedtler. It just depends on what I feel like that week. So we're going to do that now, and we will go ahead and fast forward through all of that process as well. Okay, now I've got that done, so I'm going to go back in and erase all of my pencil that I had in there prior. This allows me to be able to make changes prior to planning out the week. So it is very crucial for me because of the chaotic life that I have to be able to change things if needed. So everything is always written in pencil first. There are always changes every week. So we're going to get those out of there. Whoops. And then we are going to get to the fun part. The one thing that I did forget to mention was I do put all my bills at the top, birthdays as well. If it's somebody that's in my family or my children, myself, my parents, anybody like that, then I do a little more than this. This is just a second cousin, so that's bad to say, but they just get a top little area. So I put my bills and everything in there. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward here in a second, and I will be right back. Okay, guys, so everything that I have within my home is color-coded. It just makes my world work. The only thing that I have not done that with is quizzes, test assignments, and stuff like that. For those of you that don't know, I am a mother of 4 children, a full-time student, and all 4 kids have things going on. I'm trying to get the business up and going, and so life's just a little chaotic. So color coding helps me when I look at it at a quick glance to be able to figure out what needs done that day. So I have color coding. I'm going to go through and I'm going to color code this out, and I will be back. The first area that I always do is my children. Because their schedules are a little crazy. This week's a little lighter because we had some things change with our schedule. So I always put my children's activities in first, whether that is picking them up from school or if that is dropping them off at school and things like that. So for my children, I use orange. Don't know why, just is what I felt like I was supposed to use. So I get that penciled in there and I get that taken care of. So I'm going to go ahead and move on through this because it's not anything that we need to talk about, but that way you can at least see what I'm doing and the technique that I use for color blocking and color coding. Typically, my calendar is not this pink. I use pink for business, for church, And I just noticed that this week looks very heavily pink, and that is not normal. But what is going on is I'm going to be taking a Teachable Live workshop every day, and so that takes up a big chunk of my time. I'm hoping that during this time, at 5 o'clock those nights, that I can be cooking dinner at the same time, but it's typically not that pink. It's usually very, very colorful. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to block out family time. My children are with me every other night, and so what I am going to do is, because orange is the color for my kiddos, I am going to use that orange to indicate those areas. I will take care of cutting this out later. We don't need to mess with that. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward so that you guys can see that. Okay, the washi tape and I got in a pretty big fight, so I just went ahead and did it with my markers so that I could block that in. They will be with their dad this weekend, so this weekend is pretty empty. Usually I put a sticker that says Kids Weekend so that when I am planning work and business and school, I know, hey, I'm going to have the kids. Can't get as much done during the weekend as I could a typical weekend when they aren't here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on my assignments. And I always put a sticky note in so that I can, basically I don't have to rewrite it. I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and we'll fast forward through that because that is nothing that is any fun. Okay guys, so that completes up the week. I will now take this and I will fill in these blank spaces with my assignments, things to do on my master task list. I will also use this area to fill it up, and I also use this area for quick little grocery reminders. So I am working on some things to be able to put here, but for now I just use it for groceries. So again, this is what this week looks like, and everything now has to fit within those pages, or I'm sorry, those blank spots. So I did forget to mention Meat Monday. We have a Meat Monday here at Hy-Vee, where I live, that we get discounted meat, so I always have that sticker. And I always have our farmer's market, which probably farmer's market is over for the year, I'm assuming, so I probably need to go ahead and go take those out of the future weeks. And then every day I put in a focus. So I'm a little behind today. I usually do planning on Sundays. This week I did it on Mondays, so I usually will go in and put a focus for the day in there as well. So I hope this helps. I look forward to doing more videos for you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.